All right, welcome everybody and happy Friday. I just got a message that this will not be recorded unless I free up storage space, which I did 2 days ago. But oh well, that's all right. It'll still be recorded on YouTube. I am Craig. I am here to talk with you today about a streaming issue that's a little bit on my mind. I haven't actually um, formulated all my thoughts on this subject, that being bundles, as you saw from the title. But with this topic, I thought, that's the nice thing about these live streams. I haven't really thought it all the way through yet, but that's where you guys come in. You get to help me out with that. So I want to talk about bundling. And I want to do that first by talking about Sears. Okay, yes, Sears. Sears Roebuck, or Sears Holdings, as it became known in the 70s. I want to talk about Sears and what happened with them. Okay, so, and believe me, I'm going somewhere with this. We're going to bring this back into streaming and all that stuff. And yes, I am currently getting strafed by the fighter jets overhead. But anyway, man, they are really hitting the afterburners today. Sears has been around since, I want to say the 20s, maybe. Was it even earlier than that? Might have been earlier than that. Let's see. Founded in, oh my gosh, 1892. Holy smokes. By Richard Warren Sears and Alva Curtis Roebuck. All right, so Sears, after a few decades, it really dominated the retail market in the U.S., and it did so for a long time. It reached its zenith kind of in the 70s, and there were, all these like antitrust actions against it because they were so big, they were so powerful. Now, some of you watching this live stream remember this. I mean, Sears, I think they closed most of their locations. There are still some, but they closed most of their locations back in like 2018, I think it was, when they declared bankruptcy. They won their bankruptcy litigation, or whatever it's called, and they were able to maintain some of their stores, so it still exists, but it is a shadow of a shell of its former self, right? So that's Sears. And what happened? Why did this happen to Sears? Okay, well, it's basically because after decades and decades of not just keeping up with the market, but kind of creating the marketplace, right? They were the biggest player in the game by far. They didn't adapt quickly enough. A lot of it came down to, urbanization, and, Sears was, they were concentrated on rural customers, and, they would put these big stores up kind of not out in the middle of nowhere, but away from the big population centers, so that everybody outside of those population centers could shop there. Whatever, it's maybe a little similar. This is a bad parallel, perhaps, but kind of similar to IKEA. Like, you don't find an IKEA downtown. Usually, it's kind of like out somewhere where they can build a giant box store, right? Anyway. But they got creamed eventually by Walmart. Walmart took over because, Walmart was, they would say, okay, we'll build stores with a smaller footprint, but we can build them closer to where people are at. And so they could build closer to those population centers. And as urbanization grew and grew and grew through the 80s and 90s, Walmart just dominated, right? And Sears, gone. For all intents and purposes, gone. Okay, why do I bring this up? Well, oh gosh. Well, first of all, because, man, my camera is struggling to keep up with. It's hard. It's hard to focus on such a majestic face. Okay, so why do I bring this up? Because if companies don't adapt, they die. That's the whole point behind that. Sears is one of the great examples of this. Okay. So that's Sears. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, it's because I've been thinking about this issue of bundling. And there was, so this is a story that was sent over to me by Andrew Graining. So he found me here on Twitter, sent me this news story. I'd already been kind of, I was planning to talk about bundling, but then this story fed right into it. Oh man, what a perfect little bit from the New York Times. Okay, so with that in mind, let's pull this up. Okay. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see it. Walmart ponders streaming deal with Paramount, Disney, and Comcast. Okay, well, you dive into the story, and it's not quite like the key word here is ponders. All right, so this is basically some people leaked some information, according to 3 people with knowledge of the conversations. At least it's 3 people, right? So yeah, we can trust the New York Times on that at least. I do wish that we could get some on the record stuff about this, but it's still interesting. In recent weeks, executives from Paramount, Disney, and Comcast have spoken with Walmart as the retailer ponders which movies and TV shows would add the most value to its membership bundle called Walmart Plus. Okay, so we have a Sears house on the county museum grounds in my city. Very nice. Okay. So, where was I going with this? The membership bundle called Walmart Plus. Now, Walmart Plus is already a thing that exists. A Walmart Plus membership, $13 a month, free shipping, and discounts on fuel. It also includes a free 6-month subscription to Spotify Premium, which, okay, great. Okay, so $13 a month for a Walmart Plus membership. So think of this very much like Amazon Prime, right? This is their version of Amazon Prime. You can get your free shipping. It does not do they don't ship quite as quickly as Amazon, but yeah, they'll do it. Discounts on fuel, that's something Amazon can't do for you. So there you go. Anyway, that's what Walmart Plus is. But they're looking at this going, gosh, we're gonna have to add some stuff to this. We have to adapt or we're going to die. You know, Walmart has already, their primacy in the market has already been, if not shattered, then greatly loosened by Amazon and other online retailers, but mostly Amazon, right? So what can we do to compete? Well, then they look at the streaming services. And the streaming services look right back at them because streaming services are losing a lot of money. It's not going always super great. Let me see if I can pull up. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Andrew was sending me these figures as well. Disney lost $1 billion last quarter. But Disney Plus lost $1 billion last quarter. Peacock lost $500 million. I need to double check these numbers, but yeah, they're losing money. These streamers are losing money. So they look at somebody like Walmart. Walmart's like, hey, we should probably strike a deal. We could use you. And the streamers are going, oh, we could use you too. They need more distribution. They need more eyeballs. They need more funding, all those things. And Walmart and others like them could potentially provide some of those things. So when we talk about bundling, I'm not just talking about something like the Disney Plus bundle, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, right? That's a bundle, or it's like a potential bundle. But what do you do when the bundles start including companies and products that don't necessarily at first glance or first blush fit right in? What do you do about those? So Walmart could kind of be considered one of those, although as this article makes, they make the point here. Let's see. Come on, where is it? Logic is okay. Long been a center of gravity in the entertainment sector. So yeah, anybody who's ever been in a Walmart knows. Yeah, you get the $5 DVD bundles, or they sell lots of books and video games and music and music, movies, and merchandise. The merchandise I'm sure is huge, right? Got to get that Lego Harry Potter set. You're gonna go to Walmart to get it, or Target, or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, what do we think of this idea of a retailer like Walmart or some other company doing something like this? I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. So scroll back up so people can kind of see what we're talking about if they come in. I got logged out of the New York Times. Okay, gotta log back in. All right, so let's see what you guys think about this. Oh no, bad idea. I used to work at Sears in the 80s. A lot of people did. When they closed down their the catalog, right? The Sears catalog was a big deal, right? And they closed down the Sears catalog, and I want to say 93. And when they did that, like, they laid off 50,000 people who were fulfilling Sears catalog orders. Like that was, they were a huge employer. A lot of people worked at Sears back in the 80s. Okay. Ooh, a privately owned Sears in my town for a couple of years, about 5 years ago. Now it's Goodwill. Okay. Privately owned Sears makes me think of the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, which I have visited, by the way. Walmart should have kept Voodoo. I'm not sure that that's true. It's possible, but Voodoo, both when Walmart, when they owned it, and now that it has, they've sold it off to Comcast. I want to say. You correct me if I'm wrong. But Voodoo just hasn't kept up. It has selling points. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad service. It hasn't kept up as far as usage and subscribers and subscribers. You know what I mean. Walmart could have bought Netflix when they started. This would be a different conversation. Yeah, same with Blockbuster. Let's see. I've got the Walmart app. That's enough for me. I'm curious, William, what do you do with the Walmart app? I've got the Home Depot app because I don't want to search the entire store to try to find something. I just look up what aisle it's on, but that's about all I use it for. I'm curious what you use the Walmart app for. Let's see. Speaking of Disney Plus, LOL. What about Disney Plus? Speaking of Disney Plus, what? Let's see. Ooh, I have a Costco membership. I wonder if they'll add streaming services to it. That's one I hadn't considered. That would potentially make some sense. Costco is a massive retailer. They target families. Let's see what else about them. They're nationwide. Yeah, Costco could make some sense. I like that one. Okay. It's kind of like a membership with extra services and discounts, like a AAA. Yeah, that's a good one. AAA. Can you get your AAA card, and that's good for a free year of Disney Plus. That would be funny. Let's see. Sounds almost identical to Amazon Prime. A lot would depend on the pricing structure, of course. Yeah. I wonder what they could do with it. The problem is the economy of scale. Doesn't favor Walmart. In this case, it favors Amazon, just because Walmart is I honestly, at this point, I don't know if they are declining, but they certainly have declined from their peak. While Amazon just keeps growing and growing and growing. We still don't know how big Amazon is going to get before before it implodes, and it will one day. But anyway, my point just being, Walmart has at least on a macro scale, it has a declining usage in the economy, and it also operates on much thinner margins than people expect. They think, oh, Walmart is a giant evil corporation that just makes bajillions of dollars on the backs of hardworking people, and no doubt there's some grains of truth to that in some ways, but when they talk about how much profit Walmart makes, it's like a 1% profit margin or something like that. It is thin. So they get hit hard when there's an economic downturn or something like that. Let's see. Oh, sold to Sony. Thank you. Voodoo. Did Voodoo sell to Sony? Is that right? Wow. I gotta know now. Fandango. And Fandango is owned by, I thought Fandango was owned by Comcast. Oh boy. NBC Universal subsidiary Fandango Media would acquire Voodoo. Yeah. So yeah, it's Comcast through, let's see. Yeah. NBC Universal Fandango Media. There you go. That's who it is. Hey, Lance, nice to have you here. Glad you're here. I hope you're ready for some Q&A, some non sequiturs, some bouncing back and forth between topics. It all gets very chaotic. But if you've watched any of these on demand, you already know that. Let's see. Streaming is looking more and more like cable every day. I don't agree with that quite as much. Or I guess, sure, it's fair to say that it's looking more and more like cable every day, but it's like if cable, or if streaming is 0 and cable is 100, then it's up to like a 7 or an 8. It's not like oh my gosh, we have cable again. It's not there yet, but it is threatening to do that. And they might have to, because of all the money that these streamers are losing. They might have to do that. I have some other thoughts about why they're losing money and how they can stem that tide, but we'll see. Okay, I haven't kept up with everybody. Let's see. Frayden, you said Disney Plus. LOL Disney Plus. I was referring to Disney Plus price increase and ad-free tier. Blockbuster news from yesterday or the day before. Yeah, we should probably talk about that. Yeah, I know. I could have even, I was planning on doing that next week when kind of the dust had settled. But we should talk about that. Okay, here we go. Disney Plus and Hulu are getting steep price hikes. In fact, let me see if I can throw this over on the other screen just a moment so you guys can see it as well. We should definitely talk about that. Thanks for bringing it up. I'll do a video on it next week. Just sometimes when these announcements come out, sometimes I'll chase the announcements and say, okay, we got to get a video out, in the next 2 hours. Usually though, I'll let announcements like this come out and then, watch people speculate for a little while and then do a video a week later with like, all right, here's what we actually know. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with this, but it is still valuable, I think, to take a look at what's going on with this. Disney Plus and Hulu are getting steep price hikes. So this is from The Verge. They're raising the price of Disney Plus to $11 a month, which I love. It's just hilarious. Up from its current price of $8 a month. Okay, now we're gonna do a little math. Okay, we're gonna. All right. So let's see. $10.99 minus $7.99 equals $3 divided by $7.99. That is a 37.55% increase. Call it 38. 38% increase from $8 to $11 a month. Amazing. We'll see what happens. Okay, but this is happening on the heels of some other announcements for them. Let's see. Hulu ad-free tier will go from 13 to 15. Ad-supported version will cost $8 a month. And listen, this is another one of those times when I get to pull out the old mug that you guys can't really see right now. I get to pull out the old mug and say, yep, turns out Craig is always right. I've already gotten to do this once. But with Disney Plus, when they came out, Disney Plus came out 2.5 years ago, I want to say. And, day one, I'm doing a video. Okay, let's check out Disney Plus. Let's do a little review on it. And in that video, I said, yes, it's $7 a month now, but it won't be that way for long. And sure enough, about a year and a half into it, they're like, yeah, it's $8 now. And now $11. So we're getting up to, what's that? Like a 70%? Or no, it's not that. Is it? No, 60% increase from where it started. So yeah, I told you it couldn't last with the amount of money they're spending on content. So anyway, so yeah, that's there you go. Price hike. Oh, we should blow this back up. Price hike for the unbundled ESPN Plus was announced in July. We already talked about that. So that's $10 a month now. Anyway, yeah, it's just getting to be pretty big. These prices, definitely something to keep in mind. And it's these sorts of things that brought me to the topic at hand today, bundling. How are these companies going to recoup costs associated with creating all this streaming content? All right. Walmart and Netflix, says Lance, should team up to take on Amazon. Ooh. Maybe. Okay, all right. I'd have to noodle on this. I think Walmart could really use Netflix, but I'm not sure that Netflix would feel like they need Walmart. At least not yet. It's possible, but that's an interesting thought. I like that. It's also ZZ Top's best album. There you go. All right. Okay. Well, this is one way. Again, Lance here. Prices are going up and up on streaming, just like cable. That is one way. It's getting more like cable. That's true. Okay. I just signed up with Disney with Hulu. I probably will cancel it. Wow. Okay. So am I to take it then, Angela, that you didn't sign up for the like a year long membership? You did the month to month. Um, just signed up. I'll probably cancel it. That is quite a price hike. When is this? Do they say when? Yeah, starting December 8th. So we've still got a few months of the current pricing. Um, this is a good way for them to kind of announce it and then let the shock wear off and then it hits, right? Okay. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Yeah, this is exactly right from Andy. So this was kind of my point in those earlier videos. Disney was looking to grow its subscriber base. Now that they have you hooked, they can raise prices. That's exactly right. That's how it works. And that's a perfectly legitimate market strategy, I suppose. But let's see. What is it? Total Disney Plus subscriptions are now $152.1 million, higher than the 147 that analysts had forecast. So they're at 151 million subscribers. Sorry, 152 million subscribers. And I don't know about hooked. I've yeah, I don't know if I'm hooked to any of these streaming services anymore. Oh, this is a good reminder. Thank you, Sylvia. No politics, please. Cheers to that. All right. And besides, anybody who thinks that if you think that there's a purely political explanation for price increases at Netflix, I hate to break it to you, but things are far more complex than that. All right. So let's see. Costco has discounted pricing on Apple TV Plus for a year. That's true. I forgot about that. Which is hilarious because Apple TV Plus is already crazy cheap. And it makes me wonder, I do wonder, is Apple TV Plus going to be the next one to come with a price increase? But like I've talked about before, the economics of Apple TV Plus are not the same as the economics of Disney Plus or Netflix or Hulu or those others. It's just fundamentally different, much like Prime Video is fundamentally different from how they make money from those other services. Okay. I have Hulu plus Disney for $9.99 a month. How will it change? Let's see. The new bundle, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ad-supported ESPN Plus will cost $20 a month. Okay, so that's from that same article. $20 a month. All right. Let's see what else you get. I swear we'll get back to the bundling thing, but you guys always have such interesting questions. I don't want to leave them too long. I do try to keep up with you guys. Let's see. Do you think that HBO Plus and HBO Max and Discovery Plus are still worth keeping once they merge? It totally depends. It's a great question. We talked about this a lot last week. And my answer to that question is basically we don't know yet enough. If you watched this week's video that I put out, it was kind of here's what we know about that merger and here's what we still need to know. Questions like what's it going to cost? What are they going to name it? Who's taking the lead? Is it going to be an HBO Max with Discovery Plus, or will it be Discovery Plus with HBO Max? Those kind of questions need to be answered before I can say that it'll still be worth keeping once they merge. I will say this. If we this is actually a good one for us to get back on the the bundling concept, and this is a purely streaming bundle, so we're not talking about outside non-streaming companies kind of getting involved the way that Walmart is talking about doing it. But in this case, getting back to this merger, this bundle, if it were a straight up 1-to-1 merger, okay, The HBO Max commercial-free tier is $15 a month. The Discovery Plus ad-free tier is $7 a month. And if you put those together, that's $22 a month to watch content without ads. So if they put it together, if they just said, here is the new streaming service, not a bundle per se, but they're bundling it for you and saying you have two choices. You can either not subscribe or you can subscribe for this extra cost. For me, no. I don't think so. We could go, you could say there's the ad-supported tiers, that's $10 and $5 respectively, so a $15 bundle. But that's not, that wouldn't be worth it to me to pay that and have to watch ads. I had Discovery Plus on my books. I was paying for Discovery Plus for like 7 or 8 months and realized that after I did my review of it for this channel, I didn't watch it ever again. And that wasn't like, I when I was reviewing it, I was like, this is really cool. Look at all this content. I go watch old Mythbusters episodes or Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, or, whatever. There's a bunch of content on there. It was amazing. And I still really like the service. I like the concept of the service. I just never used it. And so what would be offensive to me is that I would have to pay the $7 a month to bring in the content onto my favorite streaming service that I'm never going to watch. So anyway, so to answer your question, we don't know yet, but if it were just a simple merger like that, no, it wouldn't be worth it. All right, that was a long way to answer that. All right, T-Mobile gives Netflix free. Yeah, this is something that's been happening for a while, the mobile and streaming, which makes some sense because it's a screen, right? So T-Mobile is selling plans for that little screen in your pocket. And so that makes sense for them to also bundle things for the screen in your pocket. Spotify, Audible, Netflix, or those things make some more sense to me. All right. Still waiting for Roku's recently watched feature to include things from other services besides just the Roku channel. Yeah, we should probably talk about that too. There's a part of me that wishes I did. I do one video and one live stream a week, and it's like, what are we going to talk about? And this was the topic for today, but I wish I did 3 videos a week and a live stream because not every week. Some weeks are slower, but some weeks, like this week, the Roku recently or not the recently watched, it's the what to watch feature finally dropped. Was that like a week or 2 ago? Finally hit most of their devices and turned out to be pretty underwhelming. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's answer some more of your questions. Let's see where we're at. Sorry, I'm just double checking. Oh, you're never going to let this go, are you, David? Yeah, I swear you're just copying and pasting this. But it's I stand by it. You can make fun all you want, but I stand by this. So good, I canceled it. Absolutely. So for those who don't know, we've got a few. I know we've got some new people in here. My standard line on Discovery Plus is, it's amazing if you like that content. I don't. But I'm also mature enough to know that just because I don't like something doesn't mean others shouldn't like it. It's fine. If you like that content, go for it. Some people just want, they want the comfort food TV. They want you can call it, what do they call it? Laundry TV. This is the stuff you watch while you're folding your laundry or doing your dishes or whatever. That's what Discovery content is to me. And I don't need it. I don't use it. But that being said, the app is great and it has tons of content on there. So if that's your jam, it's beautiful. But it's so good. It's not so good that I canceled it. It's so good and I canceled it. There, how you go. There, how do you like Let's see. Have cord cutters surpassed cable subscribers in numbers yet? I think it's about 50-50. No, not quite yet. There are still yeah, let's look up the numbers. That's a great question. Versus cord cutting subscriber count. Okay, let's see what we got. It's a great question. The tricky part about this is how do we define cord cutters? Okay, so let's see if I can find a good. I want to see if I can find a good statistic on this. Okay. No, this isn't. This is not giving me what I wanted. Okay. Here, let's try this. Okay, so these are unvetted numbers. So to be amended if necessary. But here, this is from Zippia.com, the career expert. Blah blah blah. All right, this is what I want to look at. So if we look at pay TV subscribers or pay TV providers, my question is, does this include things like Sling TV and YouTube TV, because those are technically pay TV. But if we look at the number of subscribers lost, yep, picking up steam, definitely picking up steam. So if we add all that together, what's that? 15 to 18 million, something like that. I'm not going to do math live, okay? I don't have my calculator open right now anyway. So let's say, around 15 million pay TV subscribers lost since 2014, which makes sense. That's about when the cord cutting revolution kind of just started. It was just kicking into gear. Sling TV was just about to hit. So, and this goes up to 2020. So if we want to include 2021 in there, we call it 20 million subscribers lost out of 160 million or something like that. So my point just being, like I said, this is a great question. Have cord cutters surpassed cable subscribers in numbers yet? No, not quite. But it depends on how we define cord cutting. There is no official definition of the word, but the definition that's kind of starting to gel a little bit in the industry is that a cord cutter is somebody who gets rid of their cable or satellite package in favor of one of those cable satellite imitators. Sling TV, YouTube TV, Hulu Live, Fubo, whatever else. Those live TV paid providers. Does that make sense? So, and I wonder now if they're going to start including things like Pluto in that, but I suspect not, because it's not the same channels. You're not getting the same. You're not getting ESPN. You're not getting Discovery Networks. You're not getting the stuff that you would get from cable in something like Pluto TV. So does that make sense? Cord cutters now seems to generally refer to those people, whereas somebody like me, I've given up live TV entirely except for sports sometimes. And so almost exclusively I'm doing on demand, Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, whatever the case may be. So what do we call those people? Are they cord cutters as well? Are they streaming consumers? But then but there's a ton of overlap between somebody who has an Xfinity TV membership and a Netflix membership. Like, there's a ton of overlap. A lot of people who still have cable and satellite have Netflix as well. But there isn't much overlap at all between somebody who has that cable and satellite subscription and Sling TV subscribers, or the other pay TV streaming subscribers. Anyway, all that to say, we don't know. It kind of depends on how you define your terms. But no, it hasn't surpassed cable subscribers. It still makes a lot of sense, and this is something that you won't hear a lot of other industry watchers say, but I'll say it. It still makes a lot of sense for a lot of people to maintain their cable subscriptions. It just does. It may not make a lot of sense for me or for you, but I don't judge somebody who keeps their cable subscription because it may be the case that that's the best they can do right now. So let's see. My favorite quote. Yeah, Discovery Plus was so good I canceled it. All right. Let's see. Oh, man. So Frayden says, not a Discovery Plus fan either, but I do love Investigation Discovery. Wish I could take that out and put it on HBO Max. LOL. At this point, I kind of despair that this will ever happen. But wouldn't that be the dream? Isn't that the dream? That you have, it's a la carte TV, right? The thing that Sling TV was barred from advertising because it was false advertising. Like, we never quite got a la carte TV, but it would be so sweet. It just gets too complex, right? But that would be great. Even down to, tell me what you guys think of this idea. Wouldn't it be cool if HBO Max, okay? HBO Max, ad-free, $15 a month, right? For the whole shebang. Great. You scroll down on HBO Max and you find the hubs. They've got the DC hub. They've got the Turner Classic Movies, the Cartoon Network, and whatever else. I'm trying to remember what all their hubs are. It doesn't matter. They've got, 8 or 10 different hubs with different kinds of content. Wouldn't it be cool if you could subscribe to HBO Max and it was still ad-free and they said you can subscribe for $3 per month per hub? Or something like that. $2, $3. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe not from HBO Max's perspective. They want, this is the whole point of bundling, right? You want to get people to pay as much as they can handle. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool if it's like, hey, if you want HBO content, that's expensive to make. It's prestige content. It's going to be $5 a month for just that. But then if you want to add on the Warner Brothers Classics hub, that'll be $3 a month. And then you get all your Friends reruns and the, whatever movies in the archive and, whatever they choose. I think that'd be kind of cool, don't you? Oh man. Do I see cable being phased out and TV being all streaming? Yes, I do. Almost all streaming. I see cable being phased out, but I do think, counterintuitively to a lot of people, I think that satellite TV will be useful for longer for those who are especially rural and can't get physical lines laid out to their home. Satellite TV will continue to make some sense for those customers. But eventually, give it another decade. And yeah, pretty much. It's a bit like landlines. Do landlines still exist? Yes, technically they do. But the dirty secret is that most landlines now, like if you're, again, we'll go with the Xfinity example. You've got a bundle with Xfinity. They give you TV, internet, and phone. Well, that phone is actually internet-based. It's not actually a landline telephone. It's VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. So it's a bit like that. It's like the cable companies might still exist, but it won't be cable TV in the same way. It'll all be over the internet. So, yeah. This is the cord cutter definition is no more cable or satellite. That's the broadest definition, but it's like I said, there is no official definition, and yeah, you can broaden it or narrow it, whatever. Let's see. All right, sorry, I know I missed a bunch of things, but I got to catch up to what you guys are saying in the last couple minutes. They have the Looney Tunes hub on HBO Max. Nothing else matters. This is the case for a lot of people. My parents still have cable because they can't grasp the concept of streaming and are tech phobic. Yeah, and you know what? If they can afford it and they want to, I like what I know and I know what I like, I know what I like and I like what I know. Nothing wrong with that, honestly. If you can afford it, um, then great. Ride that train for as long as you want. Um, all these price increases will force more people to stream illegally. No, nothing will ever force you to stream anything illegally. Nothing will ever do that. Um, only you will decide whether you're going to stream something illegally. Let's see. Where are we? Interesting. Hot take from Avery. I love these. Cord cutting is overrated. You can get the same or similar viewing options from a cable or satellite provider if you want to, or if you look for them. It's just that cord cutting is the hot new trend. Interesting. I don't think it's overrated, but I will say this. I don't think cord cutting is overrated, but I do think that cable is underrated. Kind of like what I was just saying, right? I don't ever want to poo-poo somebody who says that they prefer cable. Especially if they give me reasons and I feel like their reasons are decent ones, then totally fine. It's my mom she's not tech phobic, but she has her way of doing things that she enjoys, and one of those things has been, I'll turn on the TV in the bedroom and it'll have this show going, and then I go into the kitchen and turn on the TV and put on the same channel. So I can walk back and forth between the two, and it's playing the same thing at the same time. And, I can do the same thing in the basement so that as I'm walking around doing, chores or whatever, I can have the same thing going on in all these different rooms. It's like surround sound, but TV. Try doing that with streaming. Not going to happen, right? So, well, for the most part, I guess if you got YouTube TV, right? But, that is much, much easier to do with cable. So I do think cable is underrated, but I don't think cord cutting is overrated. Does that make any sense? The big thing for me is that even with all these price increases, we talk about the Disney Plus price increase, we talk about the potential bundles that we might have to deal with, other companies coming in, whatever. The day that I will finally say something like this is the day that they bring in contracts. And I don't see that happening, at least, not anytime soon. But this is what really killed cable for me, was that I have to sign another 1-year contract with, I was with Xfinity at the time. I have to sign another 1-year contract. Oh my gosh. And I was doing a lot of research at the time because I was in my baby days at Reviews.org. And I'm looking at satellite. And understandably, because of the infrastructure involved, satellite was requiring 2-year contracts. I think they still do. That's the big difference, is the freedom to exit was not, you didn't really have that with cable and satellite. So as soon as that goes away, that's when I'll be a little more sympathetic to that. Let's see. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? HBO Max unbundled hubs. There you go. Cable and satellite doesn't have the best shows. That's it's obviously debatable, but I think I would agree with that. You don't get Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max stuff on cable. So let's see. No word yet, as far as I know, on who's getting the NFL Sunday Ticket package. Let's see. I have satellite and no contract, but I've had it for years. That's good. Okay, good. Okay. Oh boy. Oh wow. You guys are getting way ahead of me, so I'm going to try to catch up. It's hard to change from something you've been doing for decades. Not that I'm old. I'm not that old, but I still feel this. It's a thing. No contracts for me. I'm right there with you. Ooh, interesting. Xfinity slows your internet speed down until you buy their box. I'd have to look into that. I think that would be. Is that in their terms of service? Otherwise, that sounds illegal. Oh yeah, this is cool. Getting Red Zone with YouTube TV next month for $11 a month with the Sports Plus package. It's a lot of money for Red Zone, but if you've ever used Red Zone, it's way too chaotic for me. I can't do it. Much like Discovery Plus, it's I love it and I canceled it. With Red Zone, I love it and I won't use it. It's too chaotic for me, but if you love it, oh man, it's really cool. It's a cool concept. Okay. If streaming brings contracts, there'll be a huge revolt. Yeah, it's hang on to your physical media, right? Like if you've got a DVD library with 500 movies, or, whatever. If you've got all your Blu-rays and whatnot, and one day they're like the streaming providers are like, yeah, it's going to be a 1-year contract. Then you cancel it. Just watch your DVDs. You'll be just fine. Let's see. The problem with price increases, says Frayden, is that they think more content automatically justifies an increase, and this is where the genius of Apple TV Plus shows, because they prefer quality over quantity. I think I'm generally with this. Absolutely, this is the trap that we all watched Netflix kind of walk into, where, what was it, 5 years ago? They started to see the writing on the wall. All these, maybe not even that long ago, 4 years ago, they started to hear all the rumblings of, oh, Disney Plus is coming and HBO Max is coming and Apple is going to run their thing. And, so they dominated the landscape for so long, and they still do in a large measure, but not like they once did. They have competitors now that they didn't have to worry about before. And so they poured billions of dollars into content production every year. It was like, 1 year it was, we're going to spend $12 billion on content. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's crazy. And then next year it was $19 billion. And then it was more. And that was all an effort to build up that library, right? And now they're stuck because they spent ungodly amounts of money building their own library. And now they have to raise prices. They can't compete with even the new Disney Plus, $10 a month price, or $11 a month, whatever it is. Yeah, $11 a month. They can't compete with that price because they're in so much debt over having made so much content. And Apple TV Plus, they certainly don't have that problem. Like you said, they prefer quality over quantity. They still have a small library. And it's still, by my lights, better than most streaming libraries out there. All right. Oh, boy. Okay, I'll answer a couple more, and then I'm going to start wrapping it up. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Well, for Scott, I feel like we need to talk about our usage of capital letters, but I'll see if I can figure this out. Can you just order a Sunday ticket without getting DirecTV and stream games out of market? No, not yet. You can if you're a student, I think. And then if you can prove that you can't get a satellite dish in your location, then you can do it. But at this point, we're so close to the end of DirecTV's contract with Sunday Ticket that it probably wouldn't be worth it. Okay. I love Red Zone. Can't watch the games without it. It's chaotic though. Yeah, it is very chaotic. I'm somebody who likes to be immersed in the game. For me, the game, whether it's football, it's baseball, it's, whatever, it doesn't matter what the sport is. There's a storyline, and I want to follow the storyline of the game, of the individual players and of the team and the coach's decisions and all that stuff. And I feel like I lose the thread of that really quickly if I'm, in the chaotic Red Zone. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, somebody said something. If you pay for HBO for a year, that is a contract. Yes, in the same way that you can decide to pay for Disney Plus for a year. When they launched, it was $7 a month or $70 a year. That's true. But you have the choice at that point whether you want to do that. That is not the case with satellite. If you signed up for a satellite, contract right now, you would have to sign a 2-year contract. So yeah, that's so I understand what you're saying, but it is a little bit different, fundamentally. Okay. Red Zone was great when I was doing fantasy football. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I don't do fantasy sports. Just I feel like I spend enough time with baseball on in the background as it is. I don't need to I don't need to pour more of my time into that. I wouldn't do fantasy football. I would do fantasy baseball, but I'm like, it's a bit like here's a digression for you guys. Back in 2004, I want to say it could have been 2003. I think it was 2004 when World of Warcraft debuted. My next door neighbor came over. He's like, "You've got to check this out." I was 16 at the time, something like that. He says, "You got to come check this out." Or no, what would I have been? 18, I guess. So I go over to his house. We're sitting down in his room, and he shows me. He pulls up World of Warcraft, and he's like, "And you build this character, and then you go on these quests, and you spend time leveling up." And I'm like, "How old is this?" He's like, "It's been out for 3 weeks." And I'm like, "What have you done for the last 3 weeks?" And he's like, "Just this." He showed me that game, and it looks so fun. But I vowed right then and there that I would never touch World of Warcraft because I knew my life would be over. I will never touch fantasy baseball in a similar way because I know my life would be over and it would ruin everything. So we all have to know our limits. Let's see. Who has the best live TV streaming service in your opinion? They're all getting like a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? They're looking very similar to each other these days. However, I think I would still say YouTube TV or Hulu Live. Sling TV is good. It's good that you can get something at a lower price. Okay, so you do have some lower price options, and that's good. Okay, so that's something to consider there. Fubo, I'm a little bit disappointed in. They did what they felt like they had to do to survive, and they have survived up to this point. But I always thought that Fubo would be better as kind of if not sports only, then sports almost only, right? But they kind of universalized the way that the others did, bringing in contracts with tons of different content providers. And so because of that, and I talked about this before, they kind of had to in a way, but I always thought that it would be better if they just did sports so they could keep their cost down and really make it a niche product. This is sports only, or, very much sports first. So now it's kind of universalized like everybody else. So I don't think the cost is quite justified. I still say either YouTube TV because of its DVR, which again is kind of getting to be similar across services, or Hulu Live. I really like because frankly it comes with Hulu, so you get a similar price of what you would pay over at YouTube TV, but you also get the on-demand side of Hulu as well. So one of those two. I think it'd be really cool if YouTube TV did that with YouTube Premium. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Like, you buy YouTube TV, you're giving us an ungodly amount of money. Now here's a YouTube Premium membership to go with it. You can even jack up the price by $2 or whatever. But anyway, yeah, one of those two. All right. I should also say the other thing that Sling TV that I don't like is no local channels, which doesn't sound like that big a deal. You just throw the antenna on, but antennas are less reliable. If you have a good internet connection, then the antenna is generally going to be less reliable. And those local channels are important because of the sports content that they carry, the in-market sports content that you sometimes can't get any other way. So that's why I generally steer clear of Sling and point toward one of the others that has those locals. All right. Ooh, yeah, here you go. I like this kind of thing. One way around the Disney Plus price increase is if it's something you're going to definitely keep long term, the price increase starts on December 8th. So on December 7th, get the annual plan that will save you money. Absolutely. Now, this is one of those tricks. I really don't like encouraging going outside of the terms of service or doing something flat out illegal. I don't like doing it. That's why I don't talk a ton about VPNs on here, because I know what you're all doing with your VPNs, and it's a gray area to be best at the best. And believe me, I've been there. I'm not. I'm not saying that you're bad people. I'm just saying that I generally don't encourage that sort of thing on this channel. So anyway, sorry, that's a bit of a digression. This sort of thing is exactly what I encourage. This is perfectly within the terms of service. This is perfectly, what they've communicated to you. You're just using, the structures that Disney has set up to take advantage to your best advantage, right? So I think this is perfect. Love it. What newer streaming service comes close to Netflix? HBO Max is better, so they're better than Netflix. Prime is probably the best value in streaming. So I think Joel's right there. HBO Max may not be the best value, but right now it is the best streaming service overall. So there you go. What happens if you break the contract with Xfinity? Usually you just have to pay, they'll have you pay a certain number of months out of your contract to get out of it. Your digressions are more enjoyable than most people's planned presentations. I don't know about that, but let's just say my brain, it does not move in a straight line all the time. Let's see. I agree. If YouTube Premium was added with YouTube TV, that would be the best deal in streaming. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like, we all look at us right now. We all spend so much time on YouTube anyway. Might as well get it in a bundle. Okay. Exactly, Andy. That is, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into it. Not doing it. All right, everybody, I am going to call it here for the day. We got well away from our initial topic of bundles and kind of got into just general streaming issues again. But that being said, it's lovely to chat with you all, of course. Next week, I'll be back. Obviously, I'll be back for this live stream next week, but I'm also going to do a video next week on what we have been talking about, the Disney Plus price increases, and other issues around that. It'll be later than other channels, but hopefully I'll have more concrete opinions about it, better things to say than I would if I had instantly put a video out. So watch out for that next week. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Don't forget to visit Reviews.org. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If you've made your way to this live stream and you're not subscribed, please do so. Would love to see you here again next week. And in the meantime, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next time.